This is a quick tutorial to show how the Mineral ID Lab can be accessed and the expectations during that. When you scroll down, make sure you get down to the Mineral Lab instructions and go ahead and click on it. Pops out a separate window and simply access the Mineral Lab here. There'll also be, this help video will be listed a little farther down. As you're working through the Mineral Lab, it's very important to make sure that you write down your answers because you will be asked for them during your Q1 lab exam, and I'll give you an example of what that looks like. So we'll launch into the Mineral Lab. It should automatically take you on over to the Mineral Identification Lab. Keeping in mind that this is an online course, this is an online lab for your mineral identification. Make sure you read through all of the information. This is very important. So we give a quick little introduction and then go through multiple topics. One, a talk about what is or is not a mineral. Hint, this is probably going to occur on a test in the future. From there, we're going to talk about the different mineral groups, silicates and non-silicates. Then we'll talk about mineral properties. So what makes the different identifying characteristics of a mineral. Make sure you read these. As you come on down, you'll also see some of the different mineral tests that we have in geology. One of those is called streak, another one is hardness, cleavage, fracture, specific gravity, and then also other properties as well. So this goes into a very good description as to how you will identify minerals without knowing their name and the type of test that you might use. And then when you get down a little farther, it goes through the directions, sample identification. So your different flowcharts are listed here. Note they are not currently working in terms of you can't click through them, so you will just have to use a flowchart as they are originally intended to be used. All of this information here is beneficial for you, but the area that you're going to go to is the sample identification revised. So you'll click into there. That'll open up the first quiz, and we're just simply going to work through this quiz once we're ready to go. The quiz yourself on the previous page that you saw, that is useful because that goes through kind of a high level what is a mineral, what is not a mineral, and different types of questions about them. But this part is the actual identification portion. So first off, we're going to do question 1 together. So simply remember that this is question 1. You're going to want to write that down, question 1. So streak, it's going to tell me the streak is white. The hardness, it's going to tell me that it's a 6. It has 2 planes of cleavage at 90 degrees. And then other properties, stringers or inclusions are present. So first off, it's going to say, hey, what is this? Is it non-metallic or metallic? Looking at it, I don't see a metallic luster to it, so I'm going to go non-metallic. Check that. Looks like I'm correct. It allows me to go on to my second question. Which one should I use? What table should I use to identify this? Should it be the dark to medium, the light colored, or the metallic and submetallic? Well, I know it's not C because it's not a metallic item, so it's either dark or it's light. In this case, it's light, so I'm going to check that, make sure I'm right. Indeed, I am correct. And then from down below, I'm going to need to go through and figure out what is the sample. Now, the way I do that is because I know it's a light colored non-metallic mineral, I go up here and I can open up that light colored non-metallic flowchart. If you remember from earlier, it said the hardness was greater. It was actually a 6, so it's greater than that. It had excellent cleavage, or good, because it was listed as 2 cleavages at 90 degrees. And it had some other things. It was orange in color, had a hardness of a 6. So what that tells me is that first sample is probably going to be a potassium feldspar. There's other names for this that you could use if you're using a different flowchart. If you're in the textbook, you might see orthoclase listed, but all of those would be marked as correct. So you would then come down here and type that in. If you get a correct answer, then you would say question 3, and then the answer that you were provided, that you were told was correct, is what you're going to want to write down, because I will then ask you on your lab exam, please list the correct mineral for question 3 of the Mineral ID Lab. And then that'll be a freebie answer for you because you've already done it. Good luck working through this. Continue to go through. There's many samples in here, but this will be a great setup and start to your mineral identification, which ultimately leads to understanding igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks. If you have any questions, as always, please post to the help board.